Time to make myself useful once again. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Brian from Airflow Music. Welcome back to another video. This is day 25, believe it or not, of our Go Practice Daily series. Hope you're doing well today. Before we get into it today, I do actually have a question from one of you to answer. There was a question in the comments about the best way to build up to doing the long setting. Somebody whose name escapes me right this moment, I'm terribly sorry, did ask because they seem to be struggling and feeling like it was hard work after they'd done a reasonable amount of long setting in exercise 1. Here's my suggestion. As I've said, gradually try and increase the amount of phrases in the exercise that you're able to do long setting before you need to stop and reset. If after you stop and reset, if that 1 bar rest isn't enough time for you to get the horn off of your chops and feel fresh enough without still feeling crampy in your corners, then pause the video. That's what I suggest you do. So however far you've gotten with the long setting, pause the video and take a few bars worth, 15, 20 seconds, even a shade longer if that's what you need to feel like everything loosens up again a little bit, and then continue from where you left off. Probably actually I suggest going back to the previous one, the last one that you did at the long setting, and start from there. Okay? Now, it's up to you at that point whether you choose to reset every bar or if you want to try another long setting and keep that going and build it up that way. Okay? But also the other thing I suggest you do is count how many you're able to do, or like where in the pattern, where in the exercise you get to before you need to break that long setting. So you can keep tabs on where you're getting up to and track your progress as you hopefully add more. Okay? So that was just to address that real quick, and with that done, we should get into playing the exercises. So here's exercise 1 from set 4 once again, and this is of course the same thing that we've been doing. We're going at 60 beats a minute. We are focusing on playing in time, so I'm tapping my foot and subdividing the beat. I'm breath starting the first note of each phrase, and I'm attempting to breathe in time on the rest bar. Now, it happened today that I chose to play them on flugelhorn when I recorded these exercises, purely for myself because it was my only opportunity to play the flugelhorn today. I had to be out at a rehearsal, but it was all trumpet. So that was just something I chose to do. If you choose to do similarly, then more power to you, and if not, that's fine as well. Okay? So with that, let's get into exercise 1. Okay, so that was exercise 1. As I recall, I mean, even though I recorded this reasonably early this morning and then I'm recording this over 12 hours later, as I recall, it went off fairly well. There wasn't too many hitches in it. I was playing it on flugelhorn, so a couple of little things didn't feel quite as consistent or familiar, because my mouthpiece is a little bit different on flugelhorn, slightly different size. But other than that, it generally felt pretty good, and I felt okay about it. It was certainly nice to take the time just to record those, make sure I got through those exercises before I went out to rehearsal. I'm generally feeling a lot better if I do that. And happily, I've been busy playing again the last few weeks. So, yeah. But overall, that went pretty well for me today. What did you choose to do in the end? Did you choose to go with one of your doubles, or did you just play on trumpet? I'd love to hear. Please do comment below. And with that, let's get on to exercise 2. Exercise 2, once again, we are playing at 88 beats a minute at the moment. And it's the same exercise we've been doing, so the rules remain the same. There's 3 bars of triplets. We are slurring the first bar, tonguing the second bar, and alternating slurring and tonguing, 2 beats each in the third bar. Playing the whole note, and then on the 2 bars rest, it's not a long setting exercise, so I'm resetting, getting the mouthpiece off my lips, resetting, and getting on with the downbeat after the 2 bars rest. Other than that, nothing too much else to say about it. So, once again, I'm playing this on flugelhorn. You may or may not choose to, and let's get into it. Okay, so there's exercise 2. Once again, this went fairly okay for me for the most part. I noticed there was at least one line where I did get uneven with my rhythm. It took me a beat or two. I think it was on the C sharp in the middle of the staff, if I recall. I think it was on that one that it took me a beat or two to settle into the tempo. I went off like a rocket. But other than that, it was generally fairly good. I had noticed in a previous couple of days that my triplet rhythm at the faster tempo hadn't been the best. But I feel like that's improving now. And so that was a good reason, among others, to speed it up a little bit and just really make myself concentrate and get back on top of that and try and be very even with the triplets. How are you finding them at the faster tempo? What do you think? Should we do slightly faster again for the last day of the week tomorrow? Once again, comment below. Let me know. I'll be recording them a little later in the day tomorrow. So hopefully if you see this early, you'll be able to tell me. Okay, we'll think about that. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this video and playing the exercises, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As usual, I'll be back tomorrow with our next installment and our next spin through set 4. And until then, I think you know by now what to do. Go practice.